Hi guys, Demon Ferret here, and look, we have stills now. This is my solution to my time issue with balancing school and life and videos. So hopefully you guys like them, and for anyone curious, I made these myself. And with all that, now let's move on into the video. I have made many attempts to record this video, and it is getting exhausting at this point. It's such a delicate and complicated problem that I feel the only way for me to get my perspective on it out is just to blatantly say it and move on. Because if I delve into the reasoning why this behavior occurs and the psychology behind it, I could be here for hours. I'm not even joking. It's not going to work out any other way than me saying my piece and getting out and leaving the situation behind after that. So that's what I'm going to do. And before we really get into it, if you don't know about the Kero controversy and you want to understand this video at all, you might want to go look into that. It's all over Twitter. Trust me, you'll see it. Also, just as an update for anyone who doesn't know, Snake Thing, who was the person that Kero was directly talking to and was someone in that, I'm going to call it just the chat dump. I know it's more than just that, but anyone familiar with the situation knows what's going on. They were directly involved in that whole thing. Snake Thing's been arrested. Quick update on the date of recording this, the 30th of October. Levi Simmons, aka Nelazar, aka Snake Thing, is no longer found in the Coos County jail roster. All this means is that he was more than likely transferred to another facility and he'll show up on another jail or prison's roster sometime either later this week or sometime next week, more likely. Just because he's no longer on that particular roster doesn't mean he was released, and there's no evidence that he has ever been on the release roster, which is the only way that there would be a record of him actually having been released. He has not been released, he has just probably been moved. So, with that in mind, let's look into the actual meat of my issue here. And that is that the fandom is oddly and disturbingly complacent with people. And I personally believe that this stems from the fandom's wanting to be tolerant of others, and wanting to put that out as our public view. But here's the thing: there's a difference between telling someone, "Oh, hey, you have a different political view from me. I tolerate your existence. Cool beans. Moving on. How was your day?" Basically, it's the idea that you would still be able to converse with someone and talk to them and accept being in the same room with them, even though they have a different political view from you. That's an example of tolerance. What isn't an example of tolerance is, oh hey, you want to molest 5-year-olds. Cool. Want to go get some Waffle House? That's not tolerance. That is disgusting. Well, I mean, technically it is tolerance, but it's not the good kind. That's my issue. That the fandom is so focused on tolerance and so focused on our reputation in the public eye that we're willing to ignore our own internal problems for the sake of perpetuating tolerance? It's really confusing, honestly. Why, if you want to maintain your external reputation, the first step is to fix the internal problems. And I believe that one of those major internal problems is that abusers think that they're safe in this fandom because no one's going to contest their existence. And I'm not okay with that. I contest their existence, and I don't understand why others don't. So that's the main point of subject today is what can be done to reduce the complacency problem in this fandom. Because we all know it exists. I don't really think I need to sit here and explain in detail that we, as a fandom, are constantly just accepting or looking the other way of people who do horrible shit. It happens all the time. I see it constantly, and it's awful every time. And I try my best to not be a part of the problem. I try my best that if someone is doing something awful and no one has talked about it, it's not been made public, I try to make it public. I've done it before and I'll do it again because I don't want to see people go without any sort of consequence if they deserve a consequence. That's just my personal opinion. And you can disagree with me all you want, but that's my stance and I'm not going to change it. With the Kero situation, Snake Thing was arrested. It it shows that there is a situation happening right now that no one's paying attention to because everyone is so concerned over whether or not Kero is telling the truth, lying, whether he's involved, whether he's not, whether or not what he did was actually all that bad. None of these should be questions at the moment. Those should all be afterthoughts. What should be the focus of concern is the couple of dozen people who were in those chat logs, finding out who they are, and doing something about them being in the fandom. If we want our community to change, we have to be the instigators of change. We can't just sit there and go, oh, I wish all the pedophiles and zoophiles would just leave. Because doesn't work that way. That's fantasy world thinking. Either you instigate change, or you allow the current state of affairs to continue to be the current state of affairs. You have only two choices in these situations. And you can sit there and say innocent until proven guilty all you want, and I'm not going to debate that stance. I think that that's a perfectly reasonable stance to take. But while you're sitting there waiting for innocent until proven guilty, if you're waiting for these things to happen, if you're waiting for an actual sentencing or an arrest or whatever you're waiting for, you know what you can do? You can not support someone. You watching, constantly don't support artists. Hundreds of them, possibly thousands of them. Numerous creators and artists and fursuit makers. You're not paying them anything, you're not watching their content, you're not buying anything from them, you are not supporting them. And at that same time, you're not harming them either. That's the point. You can withdraw your support without directly harming or harassing an individual. You're just not doing anything to actively support them. That is a true neutral stance. And I fully accept taking that true neutral stance. I understand it completely. And I feel that that's the most mature stance to take, that pure neutrality. You don't support them, you don't defend them, you don't harass them. You wait for the law to deal with it if that's the stance you want to take. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there needs to be an understanding, I feel, in this community that these abusers exist and that so many people aren't doing anything about it. And you can bet that there are people out there who know of these abusers who aren't doing anything about it because they fear the retribution from the community that might happen if they say something. Who knows? I might have a watcher right now who's in this very situation. You know of someone who's hurting someone else, but you don't feel like you can say anything because they have too much prominence in the fandom, or you have too little prominence and you think no one's going to listen to you. But here's the thing. If you don't say anything, then you're almost just as bad as defending them. You're protecting them in a way. And you're allowing whoever is being hurt by their actions to continue to be hurt. That's the important part of all of this. By not doing anything when you know of something that's going on, you are adding to the problem. Whether or not it seems like you are, that is indeed what you're doing. And I also want to use this time to make my stance clear. If you yourself are an abuser, if you are that kind of disgusting individual, You are not welcome on this channel. I do not want you as a subscriber. I do not want you watching my videos. I do not want you here at all. And if I lose subscribers because of this, good. I don't want you here. If you are someone who doesn't participate in activities like that, but you support it nonetheless, get out. I don't want you here either. And God forbid, Xenu forbid, any deity you want to think of forbid, if you're someone who is so deluded that you think that in the right circumstances, with the right whatevers, that an animal or a child or whatever can consent to these abuses because it's the right circumstance or the right way of going about it or something. No, here's the door. Get out. Seek help because you need it. No one is that fucking deluded. Well, actually, yes, people are, and sadly, I've seen more of them outside the fandom than in. It's not just a fandom thing, guys. This is a society thing. It is disturbing when you really start looking into it. Look, that's it. I've said my piece. If you are someone who's okay with this behavior, like I said, get the hell out. I don't want you here. I hate being negative like this. I don't hate being negative because that's kind of what I do, but I hate being negative in this way. I hate having to sit here and spell out this shit because I feel like it should be common fucking sense, but it's not. If you know of someone who is harming someone else, directly or indirectly, please speak up. Please go to the police because, believe it or not, in a lot of ways, that is a way of showing that you care. Not only for the person or animal or whatever being abused, but also for the abuser, because in the end, most of the time, these are people who really need legitimate help. Don't be afraid to say something because of their standing or your standing in this fandom. It doesn't matter how popular they are. Say something, because then at the very least you can say that you tried. Even if no one listens to you at all, even if no one listens to me right now, I can at least say I tried. I tried to make a difference. And sometimes that's the best that you can do. But if you don't try, then what's the point? I'm sorry that this video is so negative. I promise that we're gonna go back to regular programming real soon. But let me know what you think about the stills format. I'm still experimenting with this. I've never done it before. So let me know what you think. And be safe, guys. Okay? Because everyone who's still here, I do care about you. I do. I can't stand by and sit here while all this is happening. I can't just say nothing. And I hope you guys understand. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.